Ladies and gentlemen, this is Verity Seeker, and I'm your host, Mark Powles. And the topic for today is a proposed classical education academy here in Garnett, Kansas, and the surrounding area of Anderson County, Kansas. I've been working on this project with the help of some local teachers who are dissatisfied with the public school and parents in the area who have expressed an interest in attending a non-accredited academy. So what I've done to help get information out to students and moms and dads out there, and anyone who would have the ability to help fund the beginning operations of something like this, I'm going to explain what the model is. Now, I've primarily looked at the Hillsdale Academy model. It's a wonderful model. That's where I'm going with this. We do have schools in surrounding cities, but I don't think there's any academy that can match the Hillsdale model. So I've decided to go with that model. And the outline that I have here, I've kind of put it in a presentation format, and I'll just read through it, and I'll skip a few things. You can stop this video at any time and read what's in the outline to get a feel for what it would be like to enroll your children in a classical academy like what we are proposing. Okay, so we're going to start off. Classical education is like a very large museum with many beautiful, wonder-filled rooms that could be studied over a lifetime. It is a long tradition of education that has emphasized the seeking after of truth, goodness, and beauty, and the study of the liberal arts and the great books. What are the liberal arts? They are grammar, logic, rhetoric, the verbal arts of the trivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, the mathematical arts of the quadrivium. This approach to education also includes the study of Latin. The classical approach teaches students how to learn and how to think. What makes classical education so effective? It is largely because of its approach to how and when students are taught. Regardless of their learning style, children learn in three phases or stages: grammar, logic, or dialectic, and rhetoric, known as the trivium. In the grammar stage, K through 6, students are naturally adept at memorizing through songs, chants, and rhymes. If you can get children in this stage to sing or chant something, they will remember it for a lifetime. In the dialectic or logic stage, grades 7 through 9, teenage students are naturally more argumentative and begin to question authority and facts. They want to know the why of something, the logic behind it. During this stage, students learn reasoning, informal and formal logic, and how to argue with wisdom and eloquence. The rhetoric stage, grades 10 through 12, is naturally when students become independent thinkers and communicators. They study and practice rhetoric, which is the art of persuasive speaking and effective writing that pleases and delights the listener. Again, it is this approach to teaching students based on their developmental stage that makes this approach so very effective. It is precisely the kind of education that has produced countless great leaders, inventors, scientists, writers, philosophers, theologians, physicians, lawyers, artists, and musicians over the centuries. Classical education never really disappeared, but it did diminish starting around 1900 with the advent of progressive education. In an effort to restore this most proven form of education, the K through 12 liberal arts tradition has been being renewed and expanded again over the last 30 years. More than 500 classical schools, including private and charter schools, have started during that time. And tens of thousands of homeschooling families are educating with the classical approach. Of course, there are the naysayers and there are myths, and here they are. Number one, it was fine back then, but we need modern education in a modern world. You heard that one? Number two, my child is not intelligent enough to attend a classical school. Number three, it is too extreme. Number four, it is unnecessarily difficult or harsh. Okay, our mission statement would be this. Now, I will say this. I've created a name for this academy. Verum Academy. The Latin word verum is the Latin word for truth. And my show is Verity Seeker. Verity, means that we're seeking the truth. Truth, verity. So I'm going to go ahead and read this mission statement for you. But this is basically the fundamental value and mission of what we plan to achieve in this classical academy. Verum Academy develops within its students the intellectual and personal habits and skills upon which responsible, independent, and productive lives are built, in the firm belief that such lives are the basis of a free and just society. This academy strives to offer enrichment and to develop character through both curricular and extracurricular offerings, to nurture the child's humanity, spirit, mind, and body, with a constant view to the potential adult. The time-honored liberal arts curriculum and pedagogy direct student achievement toward mastery of the basics, exploration of the arts and sciences, and understanding of the foundational tenets of our Judeo-Christian and Greco-Roman heritage. Our curriculum, by purpose and design, is a survey of the best spiritual, intellectual, and cultural traditions of the West, as they have been developed and refined over countless generations. Now, the philosophy of education, what I'm going to do to kind of speed up this video podcast is allow you, you can take this video and stop it at any point and read some of the documentation. But here we have the philosophy of our education. If this particular academy were to come about in 2021-22. So you can read that. This slide here talks about a parents' association. I'm going to go ahead and read this one. All parents of Verum Classical Academy students are members of the Parents Association, which exists to promote friendly relationships among parents, to acquaint them with the spirit of Verum Classical Academy, to obtain their cooperation with its objectives for the development of their children, and to initiate parents' involvement in and support for projects and functions which aid the Academy academically, socially, and financially. The Verum Classical Academy Parents Association, VAPA, also serves the important function of communicating ideas, concerns, and support to the administration and faculty of Verum Classical Academy. The VAPA president and officers meet once a month to discuss the association's fundraising activities, as well as extracurricular events planned and coordinated by its officers and members. The VAPA is also an important means of communication to the administration of the Academy. Each month, the headmaster and the assistant headmaster submit reports regarding the health of the school. At these meetings, it is possible for parents to ask appropriate questions of the administration regarding any aspect of school operations. The president of the association stays in constant contact with the administration and with parents. Okay, now this is the overall mission of the Verum Academy Parents Association. And you can stop this on your own and read through it. I won't take any time right now to do that. Now here, this slide shows you, of course, the date on this is 2020-2021, which in our case, it would be 2021 to 2022. That would be the year that we would start this academy if we can get the enrollment we need. Our priority is to get the enrollment first, commitments from parents early this spring, and finding a building is not going to be an issue. We can be ready by the fall. We can also have our materials ready, but we have to have that enrollment, or it will not work, and then we can build from there. Okay. Anyway, the Parents Association officers are listed here. To give you an idea how that works. Okay, now this is what scares people. This is why some people will say, well, it's too harsh. Well, if you do not want your children to wear a uniform and to comply with a dress code, this is not a good fit for you. Don't go there, okay? But we will have a uniform code, and we will have requirements, which I'm going to run through right now. Okay, the school uniform policy at Verum Classical Academy is designed to cultivate a school culture conducive to serious study, to diminish social pressures and social economic differentiation, to promote a positive and professional impression of Verum Classical Academy, to encourage biblical attitudes and standards regarding modesty, and to promote a sense of school spirit and unity. Now you can read the rest of that on your own, but that is the core purpose of having a uniform be worn by our students. And I'm 100% sure that that's a good policy to have in this school. That will not change. Right now, currently, I'm pursuing this from a business point of view. People have to understand that this is not a public school. This is not a taxpayer-funded school. There's not a flow of free money floating into this school or this project through the taxpayers without their consent. This is fully consensual. This is a product. You are hiring a product and service for your children. And the motivator in this is that the teachers that are involved in this, and myself as the business owner and the person taking the huge risk on this through my business, is that we have a lot at stake. If we don't have your enrollment, if you're not hiring us to teach your children in the classical model, people will not come back. And the word will not get around that this is a great school. We have to make this a great school from a free market business standpoint. And that's the motivator to make sure that we provide a great service and a great product for the surrounding area in the realm of education. We have to run efficiently. We have to produce a great product and service for you. Otherwise, our enrollment will not grow to the 20 per class that we need to have to really make this take off. Okay? So having this done in the private sector, free from government control, is actually working in your favor and for your students. Okay, we also would have a uniform closet, which is like a thrift store, if I may use that term, where clothing that kids have grown out of, they can turn them, trade them in, and we will have a store with used uniforms, so they can be, if they're in good enough condition, the school will take them and then sell them to the next owner at a much cheaper rate, and we can keep these uniforms in use, and people can take advantage of those lower prices. Okay, now then there's the basic guidelines for all students as far as the uniform and hair, clothing, shoes, the whole gamut. I'm just going to let you run through that yourself. I'm not going to read through that. Now I'm going to show you an example of footwear. Okay, now these rules are logical. And again, you have to look at the mission statement and the reason why we have a uniform dress code. These are acceptable girls' shoes. We're not going to allow long-heeled shoes, okay? There's a reason for that. We're not going to allow these loafers. They have no arch support. They are a little too casual for what is desired in a school of this stature, okay? It's not professional. And if you want things to remain the way they are now, as far as the way kids dress when they attend a professional institution and then go out into the world and they don't know what wearing a uniform means and they're constantly having troubles with an employer, or they just simply don't run a very professional operation, it's because they haven't learned to dress properly in a professional environment, okay? We're teaching. Okay, this is acceptable boys' shoes. Okay, we got 3 different kinds of shoes here, but the boys will look sharp. Now, the more casual look is not going to be acceptable at this school. If this is not a good fit for you as a parent, and if you don't think that your child will appreciate this, then maybe this will not be a good fit for you. But again, this is what we're trying to teach here. This is not your normal public school. It's not your normal private accredited school. We will have standards. Okay? Now I'm going to let you just look through this. I'm not going to take the time to read this, but we deal with hair accessories, jewelry, makeup. Okay? There will be standards. And on certain days, like for instance, I'll read this here, casual dress days are scheduled in conjunction with the monthly Pizza Fridays and special activities as announced. These days are always optional. Students may choose to dress in uniform If participating in casual dress, students may wear whatever they choose as long as the following criteria is met. In other words, we're not just going to allow proper dress codes to fall by the wayside just because it's a casual dress day. People still need to dress responsibly and according to the policies. Again, why throw, there's a reason why we do this. So why end it? It needs to remain intact even if we're wearing casual clothes. Okay. All right, and then as far as music, concert attire, that's a no-brainer. When I taught music, we always did that. We always had a uniform, and it was either black and white or black on black. No tennis shoes, no t-shirts with. It's just common sense. No jeans. You need to show the audience you care, that they are worth you presenting yourself in a formal manner. Gym uniform, that's a no-brainer as well. That's typically done in the public school, and it's also typically done in the private accredited schools. Again, we're not going to be accredited, but we're going to have high standards. Accreditation is not necessary. Sometimes accreditation gets in the way. Okay, girls' uniform in the lower school grades, which would be K through 6. This is the dress code, K4 and 5th and 6th grade. Here's a standard uniform, girls' grades K6. Again, you can stop these and read through them. This should give you an idea what it'd be like. Boys' uniform, lower school grades K through 6. And then we also have girls' uniform, upper school grades 7 through 12. Okay. Then we have a standard uniform, girls' grades 7 through 12. And boys' uniform, upper school grades 7 through 12. Okay, they're consistent. And again, if this type of thing scares you as a parent, it's not going to be a good fit for you. Again, this is going to be a different school. This is going to be a school with classical education, and we will have high standards as far as how we look. And as I said earlier, we are trying to teach something here. We're trying to change the world, make it a better place, create leaders, professionals, people who feel good about themselves. And to have moral character. All right, there's a standard. I think, we already kind of touched on that. Okay, here are some examples. These are sharp. These would be sharp. Okay. Girls' uniform, K through 6. Boys, K through 6, and there are options. Okay, again, you can pause this on your own and take a good look at these. This will give you an idea what things would look like in our academy. Here are the girls' uniform options for the upper level, 7 through 12, and the boys' uniform options for 7 through 12. Again, you can pause and look at these slides on your own to get an idea. All right. Of course, we're curious about the curriculum. In 1995, Hillsdale College introduced the Hillsdale Academy Reference Guide. as an educational resource for those interested in drawing upon the Academy's time-tested K-12 program. Within 2 years, reference guides had been sold in all 50 states and more than 10 foreign countries, and schools, both old and new, were following the Hillsdale model. In keeping with the Academy's mission to be a model for American education reform, Verum Classical Academy will base its curriculum on the Hillsdale Classical Academy K-12 model. The contents include the following. And of course, I'm not going to have the entire curriculum printed right here. I might do that in another podcast for you, but it's pretty extensive, and I think it'd be good for a video to be done on that, so you can actually see how extensive it is. We want people to board this ship and help us start this project. We need this now. If we're going to change the next several generations and beyond, this is how you change the future. We need it. We need the help. We need a school like this in this area. And there will be none other like it. Okay. And I guarantee you, children that attend this academy will not be wearing masks or social distancing based on, well, I'm just going to say it, based on an agenda. There better be solid evidence for wearing a mask on their face. Okay? I'm sorry, folks. Masks do not stop a virus that is 1/1000th the size of a hair. And I'm not even going to talk about that again. I'm going to move on here because we need to think about the future. But I guarantee you, this school will not bend and follow the directions of unconstitutional government and overreaction to things or agenda-driven policies. Okay? This will be different. All right, well, in the curriculum that I will show in the next video, it'll have an introduction. It'll talk about the school culture, the curriculum, K through 8 and 9 through 12. It'll show the weekly outlines. I mean, it's real detailed what Hillsdale College sent me. The course syllabus, 9 through 12, the reading lists, you'll be able to see what's on the list, bibliography, additional titles list, publishers list, parents handbook. I do have the parents handbook, which would be changed for our particular academy as far as the name. But we're pretty much going to follow that model. And of course, the faculty handbook. Graduation requirements. Again, this is something that you can read on your own. Just pause the video and read it down yourself. I don't want to take the time in this podcast. This shows the 9th grade required courses. We're looking at ancient history, ancient literature, grammar, biology, Latin 1, geometry, art, choir, and PE are required in the 9th grade. The 10th grade required courses are European history, medieval literature, physics, Latin 2, algebra 2, art and choir, and PE are required in the 10th grade as well. Then we move on to the 11th grade required courses, American history, American literature, chemistry, Latin 3, advanced math. 12th grade required courses are American civics and economics, modern literature, advanced biology or advanced physics, Latin 4, calculus. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. The last slide here shows the the emblem, logo emblem that I just recently designed. It took me a little while, but if you look at this design, everything in here has meaning, is symbolic of what this school will represent. And I might do a podcast just on this emblem alone so people understand what the symbols stand for. But you've got about 4 layers. You've got 4 symbols in here. All mean something and are all very positive. And you might even be able to figure them out yourself. Play a game. See if you can figure it all out. I think the cross is evident. The alpha, the omega sign, alpha and omega, and the olive branches on the side. It is representative of the history of the flood, the great flood, and Noah. At the end of the flood, sent the dove out and to see if there was dry land, and the dove returned with an olive branch. So everything tells a story. Okay, so Verum Academy. This is what's being proposed, and we are hoping that we get a lot of support. We hope that we can have parents contact me. Again, my name's Mark Powell's Verity Seeker. You can find me on social media. I'm on gab.com. I'm on MeWe.com. And of course, I'm hanging on to my Facebook page for Verity Seeker. So you can contact me. There are many ways to do that. So, in conclusion, please, if you know of anyone out there who has the financial means to help us get this going, please have them contact me. Now, if we get a very high enrollment, especially in the kindergarten through 3rd grade, as a business, I will be willing to fortify a facility, to renovate a facility, which I'm already in process of renovating for my own business, but I had considered changing direction and adapting it for this school because I feel that it is so critical right now that we make whatever sacrifices we need to re-educate our children over the next several years. If we don't, we're going to lose this country. We're going to lose this American Union. Okay? Once it's lost in modern times, I don't know if it will easily be brought back. So we need to do this. Okay? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Verity Seeker signing off. If you have any questions, you know how to find me. Thank you very much.